After the break, Toyota dealer Cape Rally action gets even faster and closer as the teams tackle 3 more stages on what is often described as the Wifferberg Grand Prix. Can Toyota hang on to their slender lead, or will Volkswagen spoil the show? Dealer Cape Rally is now well underway, with 2 of the 11 stages already completed. Erkan Fecken made the first move, but a puncture on the following stage saw him plummet down the leaderboard, allowing Castrol Toyota's Johnny Gemmell to take over the reins as rally leader. But it's extremely close. Back to the action with stages 3 and 4. Another 2 stages run in succession without service. A small mistake on stage 3 that can cause a steering or suspension part to break will therefore also haunt you on stage 4 and effectively take you out of the running.
South African rallying is currently at its absolute best, with so many of the top S2000 machines capable of winning not only stages but also the event. The battle for a top 10 placing is therefore a fierce one. Visser Du Plessis and Gerard Snyman were trying a touch too hard while still finding their feet in the Pertec Toyota Auris. The unsponsored polo of Namibian Jaco van Dijk and Henny Boertes was lying in 12th, around 13 seconds behind the 11th placed Salom Group polo of Thien Joubert and Carl Peskin. On stage 3, the Total Evolution Runnex of Fernando Rueda and Dave Lefkowitz beat the Motorrad polo of Evan Hutchison and Alvin Coetzee by a mere 2 seconds, mainly thanks to this overshoot by Hutchison. This extended his 9th place lead over the polo to a mere 3.2 seconds. But on stage 4, the Motorrad polo of Hutchison beat Rueda by a full 8 seconds to overtake the Spaniard and move into 9th position overall. In the past, with only 3 or 4 cars in the top class, the team could afford a puncture and only drop 1 or 2 positions. But it's a different story today, as Erkan Fecken and Pierre Aris dropped from 1st to 8th. The BP Ultimate Polo was on a charge to move back up the leaderboard, but after stage 4, the champions still found themselves in 8th, a full 50 seconds behind the leaders. That's because JP Damso and Caroline Swan were getting back up to speed in the Total Evolution Toyota Runnex. Damso is fast on these roads, and it showed as he completed this loop in 7th position overall. Hein Lategan and Johan van der Merwe were impressive behind the wheel of the Pertec Auris and mixing it up with the factory-backed cars. Lategan set the 6th and 5th fastest times respectively to make 6th position on the overall leaderboard all his own. From first on the road, Enzo Keen and Guy Hodgson were now in a 2-way fight with a Ford Fiesta of Conrad Rotenbach and Peter Marsh. Unfortunately for both of them, this fight was only for 4th position. Rotenbach set a blistering time on stage 3, beating the BP Ultimate Polo of Keen by a full 9 seconds to take over 4th place.
There, must be there. No. Oh, okay, there it is. Right 8, 50 down to caution, left 8. I read it. Left now, turn, hairpin left. Listen, you must listen. Now we've got to go.
But on stage 4, the Cape Townian turned the tables by not only winning the stage, but by going more than 9 seconds faster than his Ford rival to reclaim 4th position. The gap between Mark Ronier and Robert Paisley in 3rd and teammates Johnny Gemmell and Drew Starrock in 1st was a mere 3.1 seconds at the start of stage 3. To make matters worse, the BP Ultimate Polo of Jan Habig and Ralph Pitchford was the Volkswagen and the Toyota sandwich. And with positions this close, a single 10th of a second could make all the difference. On stage 3, Ronier set a time of 6 minutes and 39.4 seconds. To stay in 2nd place, Habig could not afford to lose more than 1.3 seconds. But Habig is fast and sets a time of 6 minutes and 39.3 seconds. He extends his 2nd place lead by a single 10th of a second. It was now up to Johnny Gemmell to try and stay in the slender lead of just 1.8 seconds. But he crossed the flying finish in a time of 3 minutes and 39 seconds flat, 3/10 of a second faster than Habig.
Easy left and easy right cross.
Enzo Keen may have won stage 4, but Johnny Gemmell managed to beat Habig over the 18 kilometers by what now sounds like a massive 1.9 seconds to extend his overall lead to a full 4 seconds, while Marc Cronje completes stage 4 just a further 0.2 seconds back in third overall. This is why the Toyota Dealer Cape Rally is known as the Overberg Grand Prix.
Hutchison gains a position after stage 4, but all eyes are on the battle at the front. Gemmell extends his overall lead to just 4 seconds, with only 0.2 seconds separating Habig and Cronje in second and third. Kuhn's stage winning time on stage 4 moves him to just 13.7 seconds from the lead, with Rotenbach in hot pursuit. Time to take a breather and give the rally cars some well-deserved attention. It's also time to reflect back on what's been an eventful race so far. Current champion Hergen Fecking is giving it his all, but still finds himself down in 8th position.
We tried really hard in this last stage and maybe overdid it slightly and unfortunately overshot the corner. So instead of gaining time, we're actually losing time, so it's not going well.
Enzo Kuhn is also in a bit of fight, but it's only for 4th position.
Correct. I think as predicted, we're hemorrhaging some time today. I'm quite happy with that. I don't want to start first tomorrow again.
Marc Cronje finds himself in 3rd, but he's only 0.2 seconds behind 2nd position.
Yeah, it's great. We bring our head down, and the road position works well for us, so we're hoping that we can carry that through to tomorrow. And then tomorrow again, we need to push and make sure that we win the rally.
It's been a while since Jan Habig won his last rally, but the multiple champion is on the pace here in the Western Cape.
Yeah, we tried a bit hard on the last stage, braked a bit later and then got it wrong and sort of got the junction overshot, lost a couple of seconds, but we've got to keep trying.
4 seconds may not sound like much, but in a race this close, Johnny Gemmell's lead of just 4 seconds is a good one.
Yeah, we're going nicely now. The first one was pretty good as well. Then upped it a little bit for the following 3 and leading by 4, which isn't much, but the roads are very fast.
With all the top runners keeping their right feet flat for the majority of time, it's extremely difficult to make up time on your rivals. So where do they find those extra tenths of seconds?
You make up time by taking more risk.
The only place is not to brake, or rather get the corners clean and keep your momentum.
It's really just to find every inch.
Can't say.
Stage 5 uses a large section of stage 1 from earlier in the day. But since it's run in the opposite direction, each corner will now be new to the drivers. It's also the last real opportunity of the day to try and influence the standings.
Enzo Keen and Guy Hodgson were happy to enter stage 5, as it would be their last stage as road sweepers. The BP Ultimate Polo completed stage 5 in a time of 6 minutes and 57 seconds.
Flat crest mid, dip into left 2, into right 3 in.
The gap between Keen and the Ford Fiesta of Conrad Rotenbach and Peter Marsh was less than 5 seconds before stage 5. The Zimbabweans pushed hard, but lost another 4 seconds to Keen on this fast stage. Hergen Fecking and Pierre Arries had everything to gain and flew the BP Ultimate Polo over the flying finish in a time of 6 minutes and 55 seconds, and that for an average speed of well over 120 kilometers per hour. The Castrol Toyota orders of Marc Cronje and Robert Paisley was just 0.2 seconds behind Habig's 2nd position at the start of stage 5, but a time of 7 minutes and 1 second seemed a little slow. Jan Habig and Ralph Pitchford needed a time of less than 7 minutes flat to stay in front of Cronje, but the veteran driver had other plans as the BP Ultimate Polo reached the flying finish in a blistering time of just 6 minutes and 53 seconds. It was now up to Johnny Gemmell and Drew Starrock. Habig's time had put the pressure on the Castrol Toyota driver, who needed a time faster than 6 minutes and 57.6 seconds to stay in the lead. Gemmell is approaching the flying finish. It is going to be close. 6 minutes and 57.6 seconds. We have a tie at the top of the leaderboard, down to every 10th of a second.
After 88 kilometers of flat-out gravel racing, not even a 10th of a second can separate the Castrol Toyota of Gemmell and the BP Ultimate Polo of Habig at the top of the leaderboard. Kuhn moves slightly away from Rotenbach, while closing in on Cronje's 3rd, while Fecking moves up a position into 7th behind Latergan. After a long and hard day on the terrifyingly fast roads east of Caledon, the crews will have to tackle a short spectator stage in town to determine who will get to bed as the leader. Normally these types of stages have very little influence on the standings, but in a tie like we have now, a single tenth of a second will be enough.
Times on a stage like this will always be close, but even so, it was the Castrol Toyota orders of Mark Lanier and Robert Paisley who entertained the crowds by setting the fastest time. JP Damser and Callan Swan were second fastest in their Total Evolution Toyota Runix, just 0.4 seconds off the pace. The question was, what would rally leaders Habig and Gemmel do? Habig and Ralph Pitchford threw the BP Ultimate Polo around the tight corners in a time of 1 minute and 10.3 seconds. Johnny Gemmel and Drew Stoddard knew exactly what the target was. Anything faster than 1 minute and 10.3 seconds will take the lead, but no, the time is 1 minute and 10.7 seconds. Habig leads the Toyota Dealer Cape Rally by 0.4 seconds.
Make this a 6, Enzo.
Enzo Keane and Guy Hodgson completes day 1 in 4th position, ahead of the Ford Fiesta of Conrad Rotenbach and Peter Marsh. The Pertec Toyota orders of Hein Latergan and Johan van der Merwe lie 6th, ahead of the recovering Hergen Vecken and Pierre Arries. Evan Hutchison and Alvin Coetzee impressed so far, and only their second outing behind the wheel of the S2000 Motorrad Polo. They were 9th overall, just 7 seconds ahead of the Total Evolution Toyota Runix of Fernando Rueda and Dave Lefkowitz, who rounds off the top 10.
We have a new leader in the form of Jan Habig, but only by 0.4 seconds from previous leader Johnny Gemmel. Cronje lost a little time and is now 7.8 seconds from the lead in 3rd, followed by the dice for 4th between Enzo Kuhn and Conrad Rotenbach. It's the final day of the Fiat Toyota Dealer Cape Rally, the day that will decide who the victors are going to be. And to add to the challenge, Gale Force Western Cape Winds decided to also join the Dusty Party. Stage 7, the first battlefield of the final day. Although Stage 7 is a repeat of Stage 2 from the day before, it runs in the opposite direction, so it